What's up everybody, Matt Inman back again with the real review for A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place is directed by John Krasinski as well as starring him along with Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, and Noah Jupe. The first thing I want to say about this movie is I went in completely blind. I'd only seen like those 5-second adverts on YouTube and knew the don't make a sound gimmick, but beyond that, I was completely clueless. And I know what you're thinking, lots of horror movies have those dumb types of gimmicks. Bye Bye Man last year, for example, had that stupid ass don't think it, don't say it thing. But trust me, Bye Bye Man, this movie most definitely is not. Since the absence of sound is so important in this movie and how one noise can be detrimental to life and death, let's talk about that sound design for a minute. Woo boy, fucking aces! The sound design is the absolute nucleus of this movie, and it is the core for what makes the atmosphere work so well. It draws you in with its vice grip, and it does not attempt to let go throughout the 90-minute runtime. There's multiple points in the movie where the sound will cut in and out depending on what character's on screen, or it'll fade back in or fade out so smoothly, and it's genius stuff. Another thing that I thought was really fascinating and important to talk about was how quiet the theater was. You know how it is when you go see horror movies nowadays. There's always somebody talking, always a baby in the background, somebody yelling. You could hear a fucking pin drop in this theater. It was insane. It was almost as if the quiet in the movie was contagious and it was spreading out into the audience. It was really cool to see. Another thing that's fascinating to watch is this family adapt and struggle to survive. How they've managed to change things from their day-to-day life to fit how they need to live now is really cool. The small details like using little knick-knack cotton ball pieces as Monopoly game pieces to avoid the tapping noise on the board is some genius fucking stuff. It's those details like that that really make the movie. It really makes the place feel lived in and like it's a real place that you could go, or that this is something that could actually happen if this situation were to occur. Everybody, including the kids, brings their A game with their performances. Nobody is slacking off in this movie. I think the two highlights are Millicent Simmons and Emily Blunt, though I think Emily Blunt ends up ultimately stealing the show at the end. Speaking of the end, no spoilers of course. Some people might have some issues with the ending, but I thought it was pretty fucking hype. Some issues I have with the movie, because I have a few, are the creatures themselves. They kind of look like the same movie monster that's been a movie monster since 2008. It's been 10 years, guys. We need to change it up a little bit. They all don't need to look the same. As to be expected with most horror movies, there's some pretty piss-poor decision-making. I think compared to other horror movies, they make a lot better decisions, but there's still some points in the movie where I'm like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that thing instead of going to do this thing? Why'd you go this way instead of going that way? The list goes on and on. There's a few more logical inconsistencies that don't really add up the more you think about it after the movie, but that kind of gets into spoiler territory, so I'll save that for later. Overall, guys, A Quiet Place is another shining example as to why this era of horror is one of the best eras of horror we've ever had. Films like this continue to push the limits of horror's creativity and experimentation, and they're also not afraid to take multiple risks if it means great reward. It also serves as a really decent discussion/think piece. There's lots of questions that you can ask yourself or others after you watch this film, like, what would you do in that situation? How long would you survive if you would survive at all? What changes would you make to your day-to-day life to adapt and survive in that new situation? There's just lots of jumping off points for discussion here. And really, overall, it's just an excellent horror drama about a family trying to survive. This movie's getting an 82 out of 100 for me. It's a really excellent movie, and I definitely recommend that you see it. Also, before going into this, I heard lots of comparisons to Signs, and now that I've seen it, I can definitely see it. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, just a cool little point. Anyway, guys, that's my review for A Quiet Place. If you've seen it, let me know what you think in the comments down below, or what you do to survive in this situation. I'm Matt Inman. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to, and I'll see you guys next time.